What would you like to tell me?
Well, Judge,
You can pull your mask down so I can understand what you're saying.
with all honesty, like, I'm gonna screw it up with y'all. I did not see this woman. How they say she been in the front of the truck? No, sir. If y'all would have had the pictures of the full truck when she went through a roadblock and they take the pictures, y'all would have seen. Whoever hit that truck hit it on the side. It was not in the front. I did not see this woman. So, rendering aid as the case say, you know the law. You got to know you hit someone to know it's an accident. I did not know I hit a woman. What hit the truck? I did not know. Right now today, I can still tell you, I don't know what hit the truck. Even though I'm in here for a woman, I don't know because I ain't see it.
You had headlights on your car?
Yes, sir. All the headlights, just like I tell y'all earlier, the man fixed the truck when he had the truck fixed ready. This headlight been turned this side, the other one been facing up in the air.
So you were driving an unsafe vehicle?
Practically. That's why he was supposed to fix the truck over. And I want to say to the family, y'all, I'm sorry, but I never see your mom. I lose my mom. So if I would have seen, I would have rendered aid. I'm not that type of person. And I'm pretty sure y'all done ask people about me, so y'all know.
So when was the last time you were in prison?
I just got up 3 years when I came in.
Say again?
I just got up 3 years when I came in. I came straight from prison here.
You came straight from prison here?
Yes, sir.
So when did you get out of prison?
I want to say 2020? No, 2019.
2019.
Yes, sir.
And when did you go to prison?
18.
2018.
Yes, sir.
So you went to prison after
Yes,
this
sir.
crime?
Yes, sir.
And what did you go to prison for?
Possession,
Of what?
cocaine,
And where were you sentenced from? Here?
Georgetown.
Pardon?
Georgetown.
In Georgetown.
Yes, sir.
And when had you been in prison before that?
I forgot. Probably 6 years.
How many times have you been to prison?
Judge, I ain't even know.
Let's take your time. We're not in a rush. You should be able to count that up. In your lifetime, how many times have you been sentenced to prison?
Probably 8 or 9, I don't know.
8 or 9 times. And it generally involves burglaries more than stealing.
It been like plea bargaining down to something. Cases I've been in and cutting pleas, because one case where I pleaded a burglary, it been a whole, some dudes do something and call my name. That's why I say,
You're not guilty.
whenever my name get called in something, I'm always going to get it.
Well, have you had a jury trial before?
No, sir, that's the first one.
First one you ever had. So all those other 9 or 10 times you pled guilty
Yes, sir.
and you were guilty.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Except for one.
All right. So you pretty well know how to explain yourself when you get accused of something.
Kind of sort of, sir.
Pardon?
Kind of sort of, because I get nervous.
Kind of, sort of.
I get nervous, and especially when you face some time like this here for something I really didn't do. I really didn't know I did it.
You hit someone and you left the scene of an accident
Sir,
involving death.
sir, I did not, I'm going to be honest, I did not hit her. Just like I said, if you get the picture, whatever hit the truck, if I had hit her, the bumper and all that would have been messed up. Like he said, she come on the hood.
You don't think you hit her?
I don't know what hit the truck, sir. It hit from the side. Whoever hit from the side. I don't know.
There's a human being hit from the side or hit from wherever. You know, that's pretty bad, if you're driving and something is right in front of you and you don't see it. I mean, you gotta maintain a proper lookout. Were you drinking or?
No, sir.
You got bad eyes?
No, sir.
You wear glasses?
Reading glasses.
Reading glasses. All right. What else you want to tell me? I've got to decide your sentence between 1 and 25 years. What's the longest sentence you've had before?
Probably 10 years suspended for 5 years.
For all those burglaries? I've written down you were convicted of burglary 4 times. And the longest sentence you got was how many years?
10.
Not how many you did, but what was the sentence?
10 suspended for 5.
Who do you live with now?
I live by myself, me and my sister. I mean, I live by myself, but I live with my sister.
And where do you live?
Andrews.
Andrews.
Yes, sir.
And you got out of prison, you said, in 2019?
Yes, sir.
You own your house or renting a trailer, or what do you?
Rent.
Where do you work?
I'm disabled.
Disabled? What's wrong with you?
When my mom had cancer, her hospice nurse been taking her off the party. She was about 300 pounds. And she called me and I run in and catch my mom in my back part.
You hurt your back lifting a 300-pound mom?
Catching her.
And when did that happen?
Back in 08.
So you're on SSI?
Yes, sir.
How far did you go in school?
12th grade.
Where did you graduate from high school?
Andrews High.
Andrews High. When did you first start getting into trouble?
91. 91.
And what happened then?
I think that's been distribution of possession charge.
Distribution of crack?
A possession, yes, sir.
How old were you then?
Probably about 21,
And how old are you now?
53.
21 to 53, so the past 32 years you've been getting in trouble?
No, I kind of stopped.
When did you stop?
Well, I've been out 6 years before this incident happened. And then I've been out 3 years after. So I've been on drugs back then when I've been in trouble.
You on drugs?
I was.
All right. What else, Mr. Richardson? I'm trying to figure out your sentence.
Yes, sir.
No, you stay right there. You wait to get the handcuffs on you because they're getting ready to, get ready to sentence you. What else you want to tell me?
That's it. I didn't take it. So I ain't got nothing to do.
All right. Mr. Barr, what else?
Your Honor, what I would say is basically one of the things that you just said that it caught me is that every time Mr. Richardson has been involved in something, he's accepted responsibility. You said before he took those pleas.
You think so?
Well, I would just say that from the time that he and I talked, he was adamant that he wanted to have his day in court. He wanted his chance to, he said, clear his name. That's what I believe he said that to the court, to you before we started the trial. It's, as I told the jury, it's a loss of life. There's nothing we can say to bring it back. I would ask the court to take into account that Mr. Richardson, just like any citizen, was on his way. He had no ill will in his heart when this happened. He was on his way in his car to pick up his girlfriend. He hit somebody. It was an accident. Even the troopers have said it was an accident. And right or wrong, he had warrants. He was fearful of the law. As you said before, he's been in trouble for 32 years. His vantage point is different from what would be my vantage point. He was scared. And when he was scared, he made a bad decision. But he did not intentionally hit Ms. Woods And even if he would have called the paramedics, more than likely, she would have passed away. And just to me, the fairness of it, putting him in jail for 25 years.
You know, I had a case in Lexington County a few years ago. A professor at the university was riding his motorcycle home. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. And he got hit by a truck, knocked off his motorcycle. And the guy left him there, left the scene just like this, and went home, and the damage was to the door of his truck. He took the door off the truck and buried it in his backyard and got a new door, different color. The guy the professor on the motorcycle, he was there for an hour or so before someone got him assistance. And he was taken to the hospital, released from the hospital, and a few days later back in the hospital, and he died. So this guy is on trial for the same thing as Mr. Richardson, except that the professor died. And fortunately, there was a U-Haul store right there that had it all on camera. And neighbors to the man saw him burying his door, his truck in the backyard, and called the police. So he went to trial. His family came all the way from Oklahoma. And the jury found him guilty. Guess how many years I gave that fellow? Mr. McLaughlin. You just said it.
25?
He got 25 years. And that was a situation where, I mean, he hit it and just left him on the side of the road like a carcass. And he's in prison now. That was at least 7 or 8 years ago. Come up, Mr. Coughlin, I believe, is his name, from Lexington. So, I mean, it's a serious situation. That's why I mentioned, like, you're in a wreck and you hit somebody, you can't play God and decide, oh, it doesn't matter, they're going to die anyway, my aid does not matter. The law says you're supposed to make sure they get help or take them to the hospital, not leave them on the side of the road. Yeah. Mr. Anderson, what else?
Your Honor, just in closing the state, he's a career criminal. He's been in trouble all the way back to 1991. Part of the reason he was difficult to find is he was in prison for offenses immediately after he committed this crime. We asked you to give him a substantial sentence.
When he was arrested, he was in prison. We just didn't play that part of the tape, but of course, Mr. Barr, when you go through cross-examination of officers, when you had to listen to all of the tape, I mean, some of the tape is missing, as if you almost opened the door for the entire tape video to be shown, which would have shown the jury that he was in prison when the officer is questioning him in Kirkland Correctional. But, you know, the jury knew nothing of that, knew nothing of his 11 prior convictions and all of that. So he's had a benefit of a fair and impartial trial. And I'm glad he testified. He got a chance to say his piece. And because none of his criminal history came in. Tough situation. Ms. Dornan, say your name one more time.
Kim.
Ms. Curry, Kim McCray.
I'm divorced. I got divorced probably a day before this happened. So I'm actually McCray now, my maiden name, but it
All
was
right,
Curry.
stand up, Ms. McCray, and tell me what you think about all this, having heard what you've heard.
Wow. Like I said, my mom is gone. And no, none of this won't bring her back. But in those 5 months, that was pure torture, not knowing what happened, who did it. Some of those questions we'll never have answers to. We talk a lot about 52. My mom lived off of 52. She was almost home. She'll never get a chance to see her grandson. She has so many great-grandchildren, nieces, nephews, brothers. Like, she was one of the pillars of our family. So no, none of this is gonna bring her back. But it does help to hear, I'm sorry, because that was an issue. We were afraid that we weren't showing any kind of empathy, anything being directed towards our loss and what we have been basically enduring for the past 3 years, and that we'll have to live with and without for the rest of our lives. So my whole take is just hope it's some kind of remorse that would help the situation. Things happen. Y'all help me, family. So I really don't have much other than that to say. One of the biggest things, I remember one of my aunts telling me, because I was having really, really bad panic attacks for that first year. I was actually a case manager for DSS, and a lot of my clients, I was having an issue because, like you mentioned, Your Honor, as far as the carcass, that was one of my big things. If I saw roadkill in the road, I would think about my mom. Like, she was not an animal, she was a person. So, if anything, I hope that an example is made so that nobody else has to go through this. If somebody, even if I did it, stop, make sure they're okay. No, we can't say whether it would have saved her life, but maybe a small chance, maybe it would have. Or just the thought that somebody stopped and acknowledged that this was a person, a human being. So all of those things are taken into account as far as my whole take on all of this.
Troopers, any comments?
No, sir. Your Honor, I think you pretty much, everything that needed to be said has been said. We don't want this happen again to another family. We certainly don't get any joy in having to go tell a family member that somebody's dead. And we certainly, and I guess some people think we do, but we don't get any joy in the rest of Mr. Richardson either. It's a no-win situation that we're in, because we deal with both sides. So I think the evidence spoke for itself here, Your Honor, and what you said. We just don't want it to happen again to anybody else. We do have repeat offenders, so we certainly do not want it to happen again.
And Mr. Richardson, I guess you've been in and out of prison over the past 30 years. And I kind of wonder what's the value of human life to you? What does it mean to you to see someone else suffer? I'm sure you've seen a lot of suffering by a lot of people when you're locked up in institutions. Just wonder whether that had anything to do with your lack of empathy in this case, where you decided that I'm going to just go on about my business because I don't want to go back to jail or got other cases pending. So I'm going to just let this go. And just wonder, what do you say about it?
So I care for people's life, but I did not see this one. So Brenda and Eve, if I would have seen her, I would have. Regardless of what I got going on, that's somebody. just like me, just like my mom, that's somebody. I wouldn't have just ride off and know I hit somebody, no. No, that ain't-
All right, sir, and how many days credit is he entitled to based on having been in the institution and all?
Your Honor, I got 488 days by my math.
That was the same that we had to, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Richardson, I'm going to sentence you to 4 years in the State Department of Corrections. You get credit for 488 days. It's a tough situation for all concerned, tough for you as well. You give the appearance of being a totally reasonable person with good sense. You made a bad mistake, and this is, I'm giving you 4 years, not 25, not 20, I'm giving you a 4-year sentence. And you've done more than one of these. I wish you the best. There's no magic wand to figure out what a sentence should be. That's what I came up with here after listening to what everybody said about everything. So, I wish you the best.
I need to ask you something.
Okay.
This is Christian News TY. I'm Tony Conyers. Is there any newsworthy events in Williamsburg County? We will get them to you as soon as possible. If not, you can follow us on Christian News TY Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube, and you can follow us on our website.
Christian News TY would like to thank you for watching. Please share this video